you food waste warriors. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to run through how we can make a soft fruit small batch chutney. If you haven't signed up to our Food Smarts program, click on the link and follow the instructions to do so, and we'll send you some tips and tricks on how you can be a food waste warrior. I'm going to run you through a few steps on how we're going to do that today. Today I've got pear, apple and fig that I'm going to use for the chutney, but you can literally use any fruit that's going soft in your home. They will all have the sugars and pectins in them that you need to get a nice beautiful chutney from them. The utensils that you're going to need are a cup measure, a tablespoon measure, a chopping board, a knife and a saucepan, and a trusty wooden spoon. The ingredients that I've got are about 2.5 cups of chopped up fruit. As I said, I'm using pear, apple, and fig. I leave the core in because after cooking it, it's generally soft enough for you to eat, and the seeds help it get that nice jelly kind of consistency as well. So I'm just cutting this little apple in half and then into small chunks, the same as the pear. I've just cut out the stem and I'll pop that in my compost bin. So now looking at that, that's probably about 3 cups. I've also chopped up 1 onion, a chili because I like it nice and spicy, and there's about a tablespoon of grated fresh ginger in there as well. I always save my ginger peels and the little hairs that do come in my ginger, and I use that in a tea for later on, so make sure you save those as well. I've also got some pure water, some sugar. You can also use honey as well. You don't have to use sugar. You can also use a coconut sugar if you've got that as well. Doesn't matter, whatever you've got in the cupboard will do. I've also got some salt and some pepper. These are just the basics. You can add cumin, you can add ground ginger, you can add fennel seeds, any kind of flavor that you like, put it in there. So we're going to turn our saucepan on to a medium-high heat and just let that one heat up. To it, we're going to add our sugar, our onion, and our chili. I like to leave the ginger until a bit later so that it doesn't lose its flavor while we're cooking the onion and the chili. So get those organized. Okay. Most recipes that you see will have you using 1 kilo, 2 kilos of fruit. Because this is a small batch, what I've done is for every cup of fruit that I'm using, I'm going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of either sugar or honey. That's just a general, like, rough calculation from a larger chutney recipe that I do use. So if you are a math genius and there is a recipe that you do like to use, just squish that down. So for every cup, about 3 or 4 of these for your sugar, whatever you're going to use. So I'm going to use honey today because I like the flavor, and it will go really nice with my figs. Okay, so that's heating up. So I'm going to put my honey in. It doesn't fit. I'm going to have to guess. This is one of my favorite honeys. It's from a local girl named Chelsea. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to heat that up in there. And then to it, I'm going to add in my onion and my chili. So you really just want to cook the onion and the honey until it's just boiling. So the honey will come to a boil really quickly and the onion will go slightly translucent, which is exactly what we want. You can also add in any of your spices now as well. You can also add in garlic, which would be really delicious too if you've got that at home. If you don't have onion, you could definitely use onion powder or shallots as well. So if you've got some shallots that are going a bit soft, you could definitely use those. Or leek as well, you could pop that in for that nice onion flavor. Okay, so my honey's cooking quite nicely. It smells amazing. Just constantly stir that because you don't want your sugar or your onion to burn. If you are using regular sugar, what you'll need to do is just pop in enough water to make that into a bit of a liquidy consistency. Because I'm using honey, I don't need to do that today. I will add some water in a minute though. That's really good. So we've got that coming to a really nice boil. So to it, I'm going to put in all of my fruit. And I'm going to stir that around. To it, I'm going to add, so for every 1 cup of fruit, I'm probably going to put in maybe 1/4 of a cup. So because I've got 3 cups in here, I'm going to add quite a lot of vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, you can use balsamic vinegar, whatever you've got is fine. So that's covered most of the fruit with liquid. So to it, I'm just going to cover it with our pure water. You can use tap water. I'm a bit fussy, so I like to use pure water. Just going to stir that around. I'm going to pop in my ginger. Flavor. A pinch of salt. And some cracked pepper as well. Now the figs are definitely going to cook quicker than what the apple and the pear will. So I have cut my figs slightly chunkier than what I've cut my pear and my apple. I'm going to let this come to a boil. And then as soon as it's boiling, I'm going to turn it down to a light simmer, put a lid on it and let it simmer for about 45 minutes. Once that's done, I'm going to transfer it into a sterilized jar and use it whenever I want, on toast, on a cheese plate. It's going to be delicious. Happy making!